Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and today I'll be teaching you how to unlock the path of propagation for the simulated universe. As you can see here, I can select it now in Simulated Universe 7, the normal simulated universe. I'm going to be teaching you in this video not only how to unlock it, but how to do it real quickly, because none of us have time to spend 20 hours grinding the Swamp Disaster. And the TLDR, how to unlock it, for those of you who just want the long story short, you need to complete all 13 of these missions to the main story for this Swamp Disaster in order to unlock it. Here you can see what you have left, and they have a lot of rewards here. As you can see, tons of these premium currency stellar jets. So you should be doing this even if you don't care too much about the path of propagation. It gives you a lot of free pulls as well, a lot of materials also. So just do this, very good. When you click into here, you can exactly see what is the level of the requirement for the particular path. So for example, if I go back here, you can click in your communal trial. You can exactly see the level that you currently have in each of them. And the thing that I didn't know, because I had my preservation at level 16, but I still didn't get that token. So what you need to do is actually go in and complete the run. You need to beat the final stage, the third plane, in order to get it registered as you having beyond a certain level. So if you have it very high level and you don't you only go to the second stage, clear and get out, then you won't be able to register it as to get this final token for this Swamp Disaster tokens here. When I mean tokens, I mean these things over here. So that is one thing that I found out a little bit later than normal, but that's how you do it. In order to get these tokens, you need to get this high level, and the long story short I can say is you need to clear this tree as high as you can. As you can see here, I have it cleared all the way for the normal ones. These are hidden ones which you can take your time to do. There's also a way to speed it up. I just completed all of this, so I'm making this video for those of you who want to know how to speed run, because I wasted a lot of time. I spent over 20 hours maybe, but I can shorten down your time because you can do a lot of these nodes together as well. This one here is to clear Simulated Universe a couple of times, the final difficulty, so you can have it left, it doesn't really matter, but you need to clear at least these last two in order for you to get the requirements of this particular level. And I think it's quite easy to do once I teach you some basic tips and tricks. So first things first, now in this section I'm going to be actually telling you how you can actually speed run it. The first biggest tip that I have will actually be to go to the lowest difficulty you can find for the earlier floors. For example, here you can see 750 cosmic fragments. You have here enhanced blessings. You have here 6 combat domains. You don't have to go to the hardest domain. Just do the domain difficulty 1. Get the first clear rewards while you're getting this at the same time. So you get double bonuses. You see, you get the first clear bonus. You get this real quick already. You can get a pretty good amounts of resources. You maximize your run, save yourself some time as well, rather than having to run difficulty 1 later on, which I had to do. I didn't know that after you clear the tutorial, you still can do difficulty 1. So that is one thing. As you go higher, in this tree, as you can see here, it will start to drag out to difficulty 2, and then it will require you go difficulty 3 and so on. So make sure you're always playing at the lowest difficulty as you can. That is really important. So I'm going to be talking about a few of them that I think are really important to know, because you won't be able to see the later stages one. So I'm just clicking here and showing you what are in the trees as well, so you can kind of plan ahead which one maybe you can do together too. I'll give you some tips in a little bit as we go along. So this one is not too hard. So far what we see here is not too difficult in my opinion. As you can see, difficulty 2 all the way until this stage here. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth bracket is still difficulty 2 with any beacon. So beacons are basically on the bottom right. They will have enhancement domains or the trotter. Those are all considered beacons. How do you want to get beacons? If you want beacons, go in through the hunt node, because hunt nodes usually will spawn those beacons for example the pig trotter, the warp trotter, or destruction also gives you quite a bit of nodes. So if you specifically want to clear this one ASAP, just go in for the first few, clear, get out. Don't have to complete the entire thing, which I did. I kept running all the way to the end, running all the way to end, super inefficient. But yeah, that's for that so far. Once you hit this node here, this battle for trotters, this is when it starts to become a bit more difficult, because the difficulty 3 and beyond starts to get a little bit more challenging, especially when you don't have too much buffs. So for battle of trotters here, you want to play the hunt path. Go in as high as you can. Make sure you are fighting at difficulty 3 or higher, because if you don't fight difficulty 3 or higher, you won't be able to get this buff. You need to complete here Blessing of Trotter or the Curio Trotter for a total of 4 times. This one is still okay. Later there's one that's a bit more confusing, which we'll talk about in a bit. This one not too difficult, 10 Curios difficulty 2, even though they are on the same plane here, but one is difficulty 2, one is difficulty 3, so be careful when you're doing this one, because you might as well do, for example, if you cleared this one, you might as well do difficulty 3 to clear both of these two at the same time, rather than being at difficulty 2 and only clearing one. That will like speed you up immediately. You can be on this node here too. So adventure domain for a total of 3 times, difficulty 3 or higher. Just the one that you like go around either breaking boxes or destroying warp trotters and stuff. Trigger emergency a total of 1 times at difficulty 3 or higher. I actually don't know what difficulty 3 is. If any of you know, or what emergency is, sorry. If any of you know exactly what it is, just leave in a comment below. I think this happens like on occasion. If you journey through and you maybe go into a certain node, it will automatically trigger. I immediately cleared this one when I got it in the same run, so I couldn't exactly figure out. If any of you know, do leave us a comment as well. I think a lot of us might be stuck at this one, and also will be helpful for the rest of us to learn from each other too. Next up, this is the one that probably you'll be stuck at a while for this one, because you are required to complete the Swamp Disaster at difficulty 3 or higher. A lot of us, what we like to do is we'll go like the first 2 planes, exit, get out. First 2 planes, exit, get out, because it's a lot faster. You don't have to go through that long boss fight. Once you hit here, this is the first node that requires you to actually clear difficulty 3. So I highly recommend you like wait until this one before you actually clear difficulty 3 to get that first clear rewards. It's just way more efficient, and you can like fine-tune your strategy as well. I'll talk about like strategy and what I used in a little bit too. But basically, next we have generate 2 resonance interplay. This is also still at difficulty 3 or higher. This one is independent of this, so you can see it just comes down here after you beat this node here for this adventure domain. So you can actually clear this before you clear this, or clear them together depending on how you want it. So 2 resonance interplays in the same challenge run. What resonance interplays is let's say you're running a path of preservation. You want to get like preservation and remembrance, preservation and nihility both together. That's considered as 1 time. So you need to unlock both of them and total of 2 times. So once you like run twice, do it, get out, run twice, do it and get out, then you complete this one. Quite a bit tedious. Next up, this one, obtain 4 resonance formation. This is the normal one that you get when you get like multiple of the same path that you're following. Difficulty 3 and higher again. So as you can see, these 3 nodes here are all still difficulty 3, and as we go in now, it will start to become a bit harder. So as you can see here, it's still difficulty 3 or higher, but once you clear difficulty 3 for the first time, this one you can still run difficulty 3 if you left like any of these 2 nodes here that you are having as well. So this one is pretty much you just need to enter combat domain, combat domain, combat domain, and just recycle. I found that this one was very easily cleared with destruction. Destruction does it very well because they keep converting a lot of the nodes to destruction type. So I cleared it quite quickly with this one here. Next up, purchase 3 or more items in transaction domains. This is quite easy. You can do it real quick, especially if you are just like difficulty 3 and you're pairing with something else. I don't think this is a major struggle. Complete 1 domain with Blessing Trotter and 1 domain with Curio Trotter. This is different from this one here, the one that we encountered the pig trotters for the first time, the battle for trotters. This one you have to clear them both at the same time, and you have to do it total of 3 times at difficulty 4 or higher. So while this one here you can see this was like still at difficulty 3, this one is difficulty 4 and higher, which means you need to plan properly. Don't just like just fight difficulty 3. That's what I did. I wasted so much time, so I'm telling you like mistakes that I did too. Once you reach here, 4 here, you can see here difficulty 4. So once you reach this tier, everything becomes like difficulty 4 already, which is a little bit more tedious to clear because it's much harder, it's a bit longer as well. So what I would advise once you hit like difficulty 4 is go into the first, second plane, don't bother clearing the stage, just like clearing 1, 2, get out, clearing 1, 2, because a lot of them don't require you to clear the entire stage. So here as you can see, consecutively enter different types of domains 4 times. You can just do it when you start the game, just do 1, 2, 3, 4, all different domains, get out, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to do it for 5 times. It's going to be a bit tedious, but then you will clear it and get good rewards too after that. Next up, have countdown exactly 0. I think this is the one that is the most challenging, Rubert 3 Cometh. I spent a lot of time because you have to make it to the final stage. You don't have to defeat it, but you can kind of estimate it once you clear the second boss. A tip that I have, like if you really want to solve this one properly, and just listen real quick, you have to have a bit of RNG luck. When you start the battle, you can kind of plan how much steps you need. What I try to do is have around 4 to 5 countdown when I'm entering the final stage. 4 is a nice number because if you, and especially if you can go like directly one straight path. Let me see if I can get an animation real quick. Okay, so what I will actually be doing is if you see a map that looks something like this is a very, very good map. So once you start, you want to go just straight away into the final domain, and then in your second stage, you want to try to go from left all the way right into the final domain as well. I try to leave it around 4 to 5 because it's a little bit of RNG depending on how many steps it takes. In the final domain, for example, if this is what the final domain looks like and you have around 4 steps, you just count 4. You have to have like exactly 1 left when you're in this final node. So if let's say I'm at 4 here, 3, 2, 1, 0. So that is considered as 0. So this is how you like count the steps to get to 0. And if let's say you were you had a bit of excess, maybe you're at like 5 or 6, you can do this. So let's say you're at 5, you go down here, it's 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So you can do this and it will help you burn an additional 1. So if you're at 6, you can do something like this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and so on and so forth. But the final node is a little bit shorter than this. It usually, like, I think it's either this or like 1 less. So I think like I felt like 4 or 5 is like just nice, and it has to have a little bit of RNG if there's no like blocks in the middle. So just plan accordingly, and that's how like I count how much do I need as well. For those of you who like are too lazy to do this, another decent way to do it is using this other method that I'll tell you right now. The next method is of course using a Path of Abundance. If you are maybe good enough to clear difficulty 4 with Path of Abundance, you have to play it a little bit to get the feel of how the path works. Why this is good is because they have this mechanic where if you step on a tile that is not cooldown, you basically reduce by 2 extra counts, which means you minus 3. But if you step on Mercy, you get a +1. So if you do it correctly, you can actually plan yourself just nice to reach 0. That's like another way that you can opt for. It's a bit higher difficulty, don't really recommend it. You can just go your normal road and like just try your luck and just count the steps accordingly. But that's about it for this one. Let's go back into the tree and talk about more. Okay, so after you cleared this one with the tips that we have, let's talk about the next two. I think this is like the hardest one. The rest of them are just tedious. Have HP be an average of 100% when passing through any domain for 20 times. This is extremely easy to do. You just start the game and just go for all the occurrence and things that don't require you to take damage. Reset and just keep going in. Very, very quickly you can clear this one. This is not a difficult one. Probably one of the easier ones at the later part. This one is a bit tough because in order to have so many credits and entering a boss stage, which means that you are likely not utilizing your resources in the second stages and the first stage as well. So this one is pretty challenging. I would say plan your time carefully. Try to go in with 1000 into the final stage, so you don't have to care too much about it and you can like enhance. Once you clear the second boss, you are more or less good to go already. This one you have to possess it, and doesn't mean that you earning it. That's something just to take a quick note of. Next, this one is solved very easily with Nihility. Enter a blank domain for a total of 12 times. I think it's also the only one that gives blank domains. Very easy. You just go in, restart the run, go in, restart the run as well. You can clear this very, very quickly. Again, all these are all difficulty 4 and higher. Next, you have the last two here. I would say are not very difficult as well. Obtain a total of 1000 cosmic fragments through means other than battles. This one is so-so. I don't think it's very difficult. You can just like go in a little bit, break some crates, get out. You can do this together with this final node here, which I think is a little bit tough, especially if you're a bit under-leveled, under-geared. This one is hard because it requires the disruption level to be level 6 or higher, which means that you know the countdown that goes down when you were trying to do this one. This one was exactly 0, but this one you have to be at like -6, which means it becomes red 6. How I actually, this one is quite easy to do. You just need to like at the stage 2, just run around a little bit more because it's at 6 or higher, so you can be any number you want. So depending on how much you can collect, you can be a bit stronger going in. I think I fought it at like -7, -8 around there. So that you don't have to like plan directly for 6. And of course, last but not least, this one is the simulated universe clearing the final difficulty, which is not required for you to unlock the Path of Propagation. As you can see here, it's still in progress. Once you have the Path of Propagation, these hidden nodes are going to be a lot easier to do, and I'll be talking about hidden nodes in my upcoming video, and I'll also be sharing like tips and tricks of what I use as well to speed run in terms of team compositions. If you're interested in all of that, let me just go and clear this final node first, and I'll get back to you with a full guide, and I'll also be making a free-to-play guide how I auto-battle. I basically auto-battle all of these fights, so stay tuned on the channel as well for more of such content if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.